Thank you very much. Thank you to all of our witnesses for their testimony today. I wanted to start with you, Mr. Pop. I wanted to talk to you for a moment about the issue of corruption and freedom of the press in Guatemala. The International Commission Against Impunity in Guatemala was widely considered one of the most successful efforts there to curb criminal threats to democratic rule, but about a year ago it was effectively disbanded. And since then, you've seen a rise in attacks, malicious lawsuits against prosecutors, judges, civil society actors, but we've also lost a tremendous tool with respect to promoting the rule of law and fighting corruption. What do you foresee as our ability to try to reconstruct some of the entities that had been successful? What's the ability for Congress to appropriate funds to State Department accounts that would assist you in those efforts there?
Thank you, Senator, for the question. It's, as you note, been a challenge in Guatemala for some time around corruption, rule of law issues, impunity. And I believe it's critical that the United States continue to partner with not only Guatemalan government institutions, but also civil society, the private sector, and institutions across the country to deepen the capacity of those that are fighting for access to justice, ending of impunity, and increasing the transparency within Guatemala. It's good for business. It's good for access for Guatemalans to achieve justice. And the U.S. government, with support from Congress, has obviously provided assistance to Guatemala for some time to help develop that capacity. I believe that it's critical to continue to build support for institutions and the prosecutors that have made some progress on combating corruption in Guatemala. There's much more to be done. I think that if confirmed as ambassador, I think there's much that can continue to be done, including using our voice as the U.S. government in support of those actors that play such a crucial role in civil society and outside of government, including independent media, to call for transparency and to end impunity. I also believe that there's tools that the Congress has given us, including visa revocations, global Magnitsky sanctions, and other tools that might be necessary to use at times to underscore the importance of access to justice in Guatemala.
I sometimes worry about our overuse of those punitive measures, and so I hope that you'll keep in touch with this committee about ways in which we can help support and fund some of the domestic initiatives to root out corruption. Ms. Kenna, thank you for being here. I was glad to introduce one of my constituents, but I should note your Connecticut connections, having attended the University of Connecticut and spent some time in New Haven. So glad to have at least two folks with Connecticut connections before us today. Ms. Kenna, I am deeply concerned about the overclassification of information. I think it's a problem that has become worse in this administration, but frankly has been a tool that presidents of both parties have used. And there are very strict requirements as to what information can be classified, and it all is connected to whether the disclosure of that information would be damaging to the security of the United States. But I want to ask you a question because I understand you may have sent a communication in your role as executive secretary for internal deliberations regarding sensitive decisions being made by the department to be classified, regardless of whether it met the actual requirements in statute regarding classification of national security data. Did you send a communication suggesting that internal communications within the agency regarding sensitive decision-making be classified?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I am not familiar with the particular message that you're referring to, so I would have to go back and take a look for that. What I would say in terms of classification is we adhere to the law, and that is our goal.
But you would agree that internal deliberations, regardless of how sensitive they be, are not inherently allowed to be classified. There's a strict set of requirements as to what is classified, and things that are politically embarrassing or politically sensitive are not in that set of of criteria.
Well, I would not think that, yes, simply because something is politically sensitive, that would not make it classified. No. So my role as executive secretary is to ensure that we have processes in place so that those determinations can be made by the proper authorities. And so when we get requests for guidance or when I have questions myself, I make sure that I go to the experts.
I hope that if I have further questions for the record on this topic, that you'll respond to them.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.